I have the power. Shit. Put another hole in the ceiling. Hey everybody, it's Drewski McGillicuddy, and today we are gathered here to talk about Masters of the Universe from 1980 something. Now, I know, this movie is nowhere near as good as it should have been, but is it really as bad as everyone makes it out to be? Probably. I don't know, but for some reason, it's got a near dear place in my heart. A lot like the cartoon show, although I can no longer watch the cartoon show, but at least I can still make it through the movie. Let's talk about the cartoon. I mean, eventually, we'll get to the movie, but we all know that Masters of the Universe, the cartoon came out, and it was basically an advertisement for children to make their parents say, hey, buy me this. And you know, that's what it was. That's what it was. I mean, I grew up loving this shit. And then, like a couple years ago, I'm not sure how long ago it was, I happened to pick up from a discount store one of the seasons of Masters of the Universe on DVD. I popped it in. I probably made it like 15 minutes into the first episode. And it was it's practically unwatchable. Like the dialogue is just so bad. So bad. And it's not just Masters of the Universe. Like, you know, a lot of the 80s cartoons don't really age well, I guess is what you could say. But unlike those, the movie, it's still pretty entertaining. So let's talk about it. Now, it's going to be hard for me to talk about because, you know, first and foremost, I want to start out by, I don't know, you know my reviews. They're not necessarily going to be reviews. It's just me rambling on for however long until I'm done. So Skeletor, let's talk about Skeletor. I have to give props to the costuming department because they went above and beyond. And ever since I was a kid, and still to this day, I think this is one of the baddest ass costume designs for a movie villain, let alone, you know, Skeletor. And then when he becomes Gold Skeletor or whatever, that's even badder asser. Is that a word? But like the set designs and stuff at the beginning of the movie, like when they're in, you know, actual Eternia and it's Castle Grayskull, I think the set design looks amazing. What I don't find amazing is the fact that Beastman is the only other villain from the show aside from Skeletor, well, Evil Lynn, and Meg Foster makes a great Evil Lynn. Like her eyes are just so... I mean, you've heard me talk about Meg Foster's eyes before, I'm sure, but just, they are piercing in this movie. But she plays Evil Lynn. But like I said, you know, even his guards, the costumes are kind of cool, but it's so, like in the even at the very beginning of the movie, it's such a ripoff of Star Wars. It is like a blatant and total ripoff of Star Wars mixed with a little bit of ripoff of Superman. I mean, I would play the music, but they'll give me a copyright even though they blatantly stole this music and reworked it from was it John Williams that did the Superman score? I don't know, but the point is, at the beginning of this movie, the opening crawl is very Star Wars-esque and very Superman-esque. Like, I almost feel like the Superman, they both came out in 78, so who did it first? I don't know, but I'll tell you this much, Master of the Universe stole it. Back to the villains, the characters. Like, there's this thing with the fucking worst fucking wig mullet thing I've ever seen in my life. And then there's this lizard dude that's got this, like, I don't know what his problem is. But that's one of my biggest gripes, and it's probably a lot of people's biggest gripes with this movie, is the fact that, you know, they had all these colorful characters from the television show and then they don't even fucking use them. I mean, I wouldn't have mind seeing Buzz Off or Skunkor or Moss Man. But we got Beast Man, and he looks kind of like Discount Beast Man. It's like, how did they do so great with Skeletor's design, and then they fucked Beast Man up? I don't get it. But then you get to you got Man at Arms and Tila, and it's like, what the fuck are they wearing? They look like they could just be any throwaway futuristic, time soldier or whatever. And the fact that they've all got laser guns. Where the fuck did they get these laser guns from? I mean, I know it's Eternia. It's a whole nother world. It's a whole nother dimension, supposedly. I don't know. But it's like, laser guns? When the hell did anybody in Masters of the Universe ever use laser guns? So that's another thing I can see people having a problem with. But, as a kid, I didn't notice. I just saw bright lights and lasers and explosions, and it was entertaining. And it's still entertaining, although cheesy. It's like extremely cheesy. It's like Chester Cheeto. Or Cheetah. Chester
Cheesy.
Cheetah. Goddamn winter weather drying out my skin. So all that aside, they've got this great villain with his great costume design and his little setup that looks amazing. But then we're going to take the movie and place it in small town Arkansas. Now, I don't know that they're in Arkansas, but they're in a small enough town that the only other people you see in the movie is a couple making out at a chicken joint, and then about 5 cop cars drive by when the school catches fire. Because, a bunch of action and stuff happens. See, what the movie's about is Skeletor is trying to take He-Man's power and the Sorceress's power, and then he can rule Eternia and Castle Grayskull with full force. But He-Man stands in his way, and there's this key, right? It's called a key, but it's like this musical thing. It makes wonderful sounds. I like the sounds that it makes. Like that kind of my favorite thing in the movie is the sound that the key makes. But anyway, there's this Grimbledorf, or whatever the fuck his name is, that's basically a throwaway Lord of the Rings Harry Potter character. They just pulled him out of their ass too, which his character's design is not too bad. And I always thought it was Warwick Davis, but it's not. It's some other guy. But that's beside the point. This character, I feel like, as much as it aggravates me, he's kind of grown on me over the years, so I can't really hate on it. It's like weird how, this movie went from me knowing that there was something wrong with it, but never judging it for that. Does that make any fucking sense? I tell you what. Wonder why I quit doing this. So anyway, they go from Eternia to Earth. They're on Earth. And I love the scene where they discover the chicken and rib joint. They get a bucket of chicken from these people, and then Tila asks, what's this stuff on these white sticks? And he tells her it's meat. It's like, you can't fucking tell me that just because you're in another realm somewhere that y'all don't eat meat. I mean, y'all are walking around all these y'all jacked up on protein. You got to be eating some kind of chicken. So I just always thought that was weird, that she's like acting like she didn't know people ate animals or whatever. Do they not have animals in Eternia? I mean, I'm pretty sure He-Man rode a lion or a tiger or something. Was it a lion or a tiger? Or was it a bear? See, I'm ashamed of myself. Let's say that's a tiger. So anyway, they're in Earth. They're in Earth. They're in Earth. They're on Earth. And then somehow they run across Courtney Cox and her boyfriend. And Courtney Cox, well, let's call her Julie because that's the character's name. Julie has recently lost her parents, and she's moving away, and she's leaving her boyfriend behind, and she's leaving her house behind because she doesn't want the memories dragging her down when her parents were there, because they got on this flight and they went away and she stayed home because blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So when He-Man and the crew get to Earth, they are separated from the key, and the cosmic key ends up falling from the sky in a graveyard where Julie and her boyfriend happen to be walking, and they discover the key, and they go to try to figure out what it is, and they don't realize that every time they play with it, it sends off a signal to tell all these bad guys where they're at. Then we get some, back and forth with He-Man and, the henchmen, which look like rip-offs of Stormtroopers or something from Battlestar Galactica, which, should bother me, but it doesn't. What does bother me is the fact, let's go back to the costuming and stuff. See, this is going to be all over the place. All right? You got Man-at-Arms and Teela, and they're wearing regular looking, like, if it was the future, or you could buy them as, like, some out-of-towners with some military garb on. And then you got fucking He-Man wearing a cape and a loincloth. And the only other thing he's wearing are some shoulder protectors. Basically, he's running around half-assed naked. I mean, I guess, obviously you're going to have to. It's He-Man. That's what He-Man does. But then to like, fully clothe these other people, like, why isn't Teela wearing her scantily clad outfit from the cartoon show? A cheese fest occurs. Like, there's laser battles. There's slow sword fights, because that sword's got to be heavier than shit. I know mine's heavier than shit. It ain't even real. But it weighs like 50 fucking pounds. It'll put a hole in your ceiling. But basically, you got these people looking for the key. He-Man's trying to stop them. And there's these battles. It seems like they happen over and over again. With no, like, something. But one thing I might add is this, I think, might be the first major role for Courtney Cox. Before this, all she was ever known for was being in one of, was it Bruce Springsteen's music videos? But then after this, this is where she really kind of got her start. And there's some other big names. Frank Langlia, whatever. Dolph Lundgren, Meg Foster. They got some pretty relatively decent-sized names in this movie for it being a canon movie. And and that's the thing about this movie. Everything about it is like small scale. It's supposed to be Masters of the Universe, but it's such a small scale. They go from this set that's in Eternia to this set that's in small town Arkansas. Like I said, I don't know. Maybe they're in California. Maybe they're in Fresno. I don't remember. I wasn't paying attention. Point is, everything looks like a set. All the battle scenes looks like an obvious set. The only time it doesn't really look like a set is when, I don't know, everything looks like a set. If you're going to make a Masters of the Universe movie, you might as well go big or go home. Well, they went as big as they could go, and then, this is the result. And, it's not terrible. It's not great cinema, but it's not terrible. And it holds a lot of nostalgic values. Because when you were a little kid, you watched the dumbest shit. Like, that would explain why, as an adult, I can't even go back and watch half the shows I used to watch when I was younger. I mean, hell, some of these sitcoms from the 90s, Jesus. That's Masters of the Universe, just cheesy battle scenes, cheesy dialogue. Now, Frank Langley, however the hell you say his name, he played the hell out of Skeletor. Him and Meg Foster took their roles extremely serious. And I could only assume that Dolph Lundgren was taking his role extremely serious too, other than the fact that he's the only one in the movie that looks out of place. But before we go, I do want to mention the bald guy. What's his name? He was the teacher, principal guy from Back to the Future. He's in this. And he's such a prick the entire movie until he finds out, oh, I'm an Eternia now. This really is real. Even though people are shooting lasers at him half the movie, he doesn't believe it until he legitimately sees it. Are you serious right now? Anyway, I gotta go. This light's dying. But yeah, I'm not gonna put a number on this. I give it the nostalgia. I mean, if there's one reason to watch it, it's for nostalgia. And if you didn't grow up with it, you can watch it with your friends and still have a good time because of how corny and just it is what it is, and I'm all right with that. Anyway, please, if you've liked this video, make sure you let me know by liking, subscribe if you're new here, And you can comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this movie. Do you think that it's a misunderstood masterpiece, or do you think that it's just garbage and it should have stayed in the 80s or something? I don't fucking know. Do whatever you're gonna do, and if you feel like it, and you're feeling generous, come on over to Patreon at www.patreon.com/Drewski McGillicuddy. I would get on there and give you cyber hugs and stuff, but my Patreon app ceased to work. It doesn't work anymore. In case any of you patrons were wondering how come I don't go on there, it's because it doesn't fucking work. At least on my mobile app. At least on my mobile app. Anyway, I gotta go.